Hey guys, Sunday night, live with Chris, Q&A. I'm back from Vermont. I've got my co-host Sammy here. I'm gonna put you in touch with Sammy. Sammy, come on, say hello. Hey, we're over here. The show's over here. Sam boy. Hey. Say hi. Say hi, Sammy. Say hi to the show. Yeah, it's you and me every Sunday night. Sammy. You want to say something? Say, I'm a great doggy. Yeah. Give me a kiss. Yeah. All right. I'm here. My co-host Sammy's here. The best dog in the world's got the best footwork. Just about any dog that I know. Guys, it's good to have you online. We're going to have a great show. Had a big weekend of coaching. I was in the trenches, another 20 plus hours. You know how I like to do it. Sammy, you have anything to say? No? All right, Sammy's going to do his thing. I think he's going to take a nap soon. I see we got a lot of people online already. Wes Fuller's on the program. What's up, Wes? I love your Facebook group, CTC, Competitive Tennis Coaches. I appreciate you running that, buddy. That's a great Facebook group with a lot of good conversation, and I'll try to promote that more to friends. And I see we got a lot of activity already. Kailash Dubey is waving. Thanks for waving. Ferry Federer must be the cousin of Roger Federer. Thanks for waving, guys. K. Najaraj Kingsless. Thank you for waving. Appreciate it. Salvador Gomez Jr. is watching. Yeah, we've got some regulars on the show. We're going to have a big show tonight. I feel like it's going to be big. It's like the holiday New Year's show. And we're going to talk. I have a few topics planned, but I will roll with whatever you guys want to do. If we have questions about tennis or tennis development, that's what the show is all about. I like to answer questions from people around the world. And I also have a few topics on my mind, things I've been thinking about from the tennis world all week. So usually I share those topics as well. Let's see, some more friends are signing on here. Los Aramos Complejo de Padel. We have a lot of Padel playing fans on the program. Jim Kane says hi. Hi to Sammy. Okay, Jim, I'm going to see what Sammy says. Sammy, Jim says hello. Say hi. Hi, Jim. Hey, that's my buddy Jim. Yeah. All right, Sammy. Oh, sorry, lost you there. Sammy will probably rejoin the program later. He's my footwork expert on the show tonight. Havok Josh is watching. Thanks for waving. Guys, if you have any questions, shoot them out to me. I sense a lot of energy tonight. I know Jim Kane has a number of questions for me. Jim, you can throw those at me if you'd like. John Denise is watching. I think that's my friend from down in Florida. Thank you for waving, buddy. I appreciate it. And Christian Hernandez is on the program. Thank you, amigo. Gracias. Paolo Melgarejo is watching. We've got some regulars back on the show. I appreciate it, guys. We're trying to build out this community of intelligent tennis learners. I call it the high IQ tennis learning community. But then one of my friends said, well, that kind of reminds me of what Trump says all the time, but whatever. I like it's simple. You know, you say high IQ, people know what you're talking about. You know, it's the smart show for smart tennis folks. Saif Eldin Salah is waving. Thank you so much for watching the program. Doug Kruger is watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you have any tennis questions on your mind. I'm hanging out here with my dog Sammy. He's a hairless American Terrier. He's got no hair, but he's got really good footwork. So he's my footwork expert tonight. Let's see. I had a few topics on my mind for the show. And I was going to dig into the myth of the first four shots, which we were talking about last week. And we had an unbelievable show last week. Some of you caught it live. I don't know who was on the program who, if you want to chime in, let me know if you remember from last week. It was a pretty amazing show. and I sort of got off on a rant. I got a little heated. You know, I've been known to have a temper when I was younger. Now I'm getting older. I'm more mellow now. But it was an unbelievable show. We were talking about the questions that I had about some of the recommendations about the first 4 shots. You know, there's a big movement right now in philosophy or theory about that tennis is that on the ATP tour that most of the points are their first 4 shots, and we should be training kids to within 4 shots or 5 shots maximum. And we had a great discussion last week on that program, but I felt it was just a little too much. I went a little overboard. It was fun, but I got a little too heated, and I made it personal with some of the people in the industry, and so I didn't feel comfortable with that. So I'd like to revisit that conversation if you guys would like to do that. Throw out your tennis questions to me. Let me know if you have any technique questions or tactics questions. Let me know if you have any questions about junior development. That's my area of expertise. I am known as the Prodigy Maker. That's my brand. So if you have any questions about young kids, especially building world-class technique, I would be happy to answer and share my opinions and my experience on that. And just anything technical. If you have any questions on Spanish tennis, that is also another one of my areas of expertise. I wrote the book, The Secrets of Spanish Tennis. I also wrote a technique book, The Tennis Technique Bible. So those are my 2 favorite areas to discuss. But I have my finger on the pulse of the tennis world right now, and I'd love to talk about anything you guys would like to chat about. Let's see. Wes Fuller's on the show, and he says, Coach, how can high school tennis improve a player's development? What is the difference between high school team competition and junior competitive tournament play? Well, I think John Denise was talking about that in one of the Facebook groups. I think you asked this question in CTC, right? And I think John made a good point that we need to blow up high school tennis. Like, high school tennis could be a lot more popular, and I think there's some statistics that if you compare the number of, I remember I was learning this at a USTA workshop with who was it? Paul Lubbers. Paul Lubbers was telling me he's a friend of mine. He's in charge of coaching education for the USTA, and he was talking about how the ratio of competitive tennis players between high school and tournaments is unbelievably more high school participants than tournament players. And I forgot the exact numbers, but it's pretty dramatic. So I think anything we can do to promote more high school tennis would be really good. And I think that's what you were getting at with your question and your post in the CTC, Wes. But I think what we need to do is make junior tennis tournaments. We should make the tournaments more attractive for kids to play. Most kids don't want to play because it's nasty, tournaments aren't run well, and everyone's cheating. And so it's just a terrible experience. If we made the tournaments better, if we eliminated cheating, then we would have more high school kids who want to play tournaments. But in my opinion, we should make the tournament structure much better, eliminate cheating once and for all, make the Tennis Link website navigatable. You know, it's navigable. It's just you need a PhD to sign up for a tournament right now at USDA Tennis Link, which is a joke. You know, they should throw a little money into that online system so that people can sign up for a tournament easily, and it should be understandable. The ranking system's too complicated too. So that's what I would say, Wes. I think we need to bulk up high school tennis and promote it more, and then we could get more kids playing both. You know, the best kids in the country usually don't play high school, and we have thousands and thousands of high school kids who don't play tournaments. The numbers are not even close. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact stat. I could check with Paul about it, but it's the numbers of kids who play high school tennis compared to junior tournaments, they just dwarf the amount of kids in junior tournaments. It's not even close. So the participation rate is enormous in high school tennis, and we need to get some of those kids playing junior tournaments, but they don't want to play because it's nasty. It's nasty with a capital T. Nobody None of those kids want to play because a lot of them are nice kids and they don't want to get hooked all the time. Would you support having junior prize money tournaments? Yeah, I would love that. That would be awesome. I have no problem with that. I think the NCAA might have a problem with that, but I have no problem with that, Wes. Okay, Doug Kruger's in the house. Guys, thank you for joining in. Shoot out your questions to me. Sometimes the questions start coming in really fast, and I have to go, comment by comment. So if I miss your question, or if I'm delayed in getting to your question, just try to hang on. I will try to get to everyone's question. And also, at the end of the program, I go back on Facebook and I check all the comments. So if there's a comment that slipped by, I will try to answer it later on after the show. But I try to get to everyone's question because I like sharing the knowledge, and I love learning too. Like, this is a great forum for me to learn from you guys. Okay, Doug's in the house, Doug Kruger, and he says, in Texas, there are 40,000 high school players that do not play USDA events. It's shocking. Right, this is what I'm saying. So Paul Lubbers was talking about this in a USDA high performance workshop that I was doing, and it was shocking. I think it's over 100, it's in the hundreds of thousands of players who play high school, but the number of competitive tournament players nationwide, I think it's in the tens of thousands, like maybe, I want to say 15,000 maybe ranked tournament players. It's a joke. It's not even close. And there's got to be a reason why a lot of those kids in high school are not playing tournaments. And I'm telling you, the number one reason is it's nasty. It's nasty and there's too much cheating. That's what I'm saying. And also, nobody can navigate Tennis Link. Tennis Link should be completely thrown out and they should start fresh. Look at what ITF does. Go to the ITF website and look up tournaments on the ITF. It's such a nice system, with they have a fact sheet and everything is organized, and you can navigate the ITF website. It's a nice color scheme, and then you go to the USDA Tennis Link, and you got to have a PhD in some sort of science degree to figure out how to sign up for a tournament, let alone understand how the rankings work. Forget about that, and that changes every couple years. So, all right. Wes says it's legal up to 10K. Wes, I have no problem with kids playing for money. Get the kids paid. A lot of these kids, especially the higher level kids, they need the money. Jim Kane says, okay, you are working with the 10 or 11-year-old. Jim, you sent me that email with all these great questions. I want you to throw them on the board so we can share with the community. Let's see. Jim Kane says, you have a 10 or 11-year-old youngster, hard worker, loves the game, disciplined. I know kids can develop late, but do you ever conclude that the youngster does not have natural talent? Okay. Yeah. Well, I see it right away. I see it pretty young, and I see it pretty early. When I have a player in front of me, I think I know if they have some of the gifts that they need to play pro. And I wouldn't, Jim says, should they focus on playing doubles? I try not to limit my students. So you want to believe in them. You want to give them the belief. That's part of our job as coaches, is to inspire. We want to wire and inspire. So we want to wire the technique, but we want to inspire the heart and the mind. But sometimes in the back of your mind, a kid looks at you, a little kid, and he says he wants to go pro. And you just know that they don't have the natural ability. But you can't crush a kid like that. You can't say it to a kid. So you have to give them the belief. You have to give them the best that you can and see where they're going to end up. Most of the kids are going to end up in college. So I don't know what level you're talking about, Jim, what kind of talent you're talking about. I work with a lot of relatively athletic kids, but most of them are going college, and a lot of them talk about going pro. And going pro means different things to different people. Going pro could mean just playing some futures, or going pro could mean you want to be top 100, or going pro could mean you want to win a Grand Slam, and they're all different levels. So I would say you have to be real careful as a coach or a teacher, and there's been some studies on this in pedagogical studies on education, where when a teacher doesn't think his class is talented, they usually underachieve. In other words, the teacher's understanding, the teacher's bias about his or her students will actually affect the whole class's results. For example, on standardized tests or achievement tests. So I think we have to be really careful as teachers not to let that bias interfere with the methods that we use and the challenge that we give a young kid. We want to push those kids as best as we can. We can't we have to try our best not to let our bias about a kid's ability interfere with our work. So we don't want to limit a child. And I think that has been proven in some educational studies that I've seen. Not from tennis, from pedagogy, from the field of education. There's been some studies on that where you have a teacher, and for example, they took some teachers and they told the teachers that the class was not as gifted as another class, and so the teacher sort of brought down the level of teaching because he thought the class was not as gifted, and they didn't get the same results. So there's been some studies on that. I could probably look it up somewhere online. Maybe someone could look it up. But I think that makes sense to me. We have to be really careful to limit our bias when we're working with kids. All right, what else do we got on here? Robert Garrett is watching. Did my comment feed freeze up here? We got a big show. A lot of people tuning in. I feel the energy right now. Guys, shoot out your questions to me if you can. Did I lose my comment feed here because I'm not updating? Oh, I hate when that happens. Guys, let me know if you have any questions. Shoot them out to me. I may have to restart this feed. This happened to me before. This happened to me once where I lost the feed and then I didn't have any comments and I thought it was a really bad show. But it was a good show. Everyone was on there and their comments weren't coming through. I think maybe I should reboot here. Guys, I'm worried that the feed isn't coming through. Can someone try to send me a question and let me know if it's getting through? Robert Garrett is waving. And I'm kind of stuck. I think my comment feed, I think might try to reboot this. All right, let me try to do that. I'll try to come back online. Guys, hold on a moment. I'm going to try to come back online.